Hey, this is Mike with Riding in the Ozarks, and we are back from East versus West at Speed Dealers in Joplin, Missouri. Great time there. If you haven't seen that, check it out on my social media on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll probably be doing a YouTube video on it sometime in the near future. But I have new color-matched parts to put on the 2024 Street Glide. Let's check it out and see what we got. All right, guys, so this is what I refer to as the radiator trim. It goes around the radiator oil cooler area at the front of the 24 and newer Street Glides and Road Glides, the new body style. Probably fits CVOs too, but I don't afford a CVO, so I can't swear to that. Now, the price on this does fluctuate because they have a couple of different ways you can buy it. You can do a new aftermarket and just buy it. You can do a new OEM Harley, or you can do a Harley OEM exchange, which is what I'm doing. That means I'm going to take my old part off and send it back to him so he can repaint it for someone else, assuming it is in good condition, which mine is only 6 months old, 5,000 miles. As far as I can tell, it's in good condition, no rock chips or nothing else. I will have to pull my little black trim pieces out of that and put them in here. But I mean, I think this is like one of the simplest installs you can do right after replacing that little trim underneath the headlight, which I got from the factory match as well. This is not free. I did get a discount on this, but you can get a discount too. So Josh from the factory match and I have teamed up and we're partnering together, and he is giving my audience a discount of 5% on anything you order using the code RITO. There'll be a link in the description down below. You don't need that link. Just use that code when you go to their website. But I want to remind you, everybody, when you're shopping with the factory match, this is a small business here in the U.S., employing people here in the U.S. You know, Josh is the kind of guy that's going to sponsor your kids' softball team when they need money for uniforms and things like that. It's going to put food on his table. It's going to send his kids to school. This isn't buying some guy a second penthouse in Florida or a vacation home at the beach or something like that. So I really like that. I've gotten to know Josh pretty well. We've been doing stuff together for a couple years. In fact, he painted the slicer fender that was on my 2016 Street Glide I got from Clockworks. They do Clockworks. They do other vendors and stuff. And speaking of Clockworks, that's probably the next thing I'll get from him later this summer when I can afford it, will be another new slicer fender for my 24. And then maybe when winter comes, we'll get that inner fairing painted finally. I'll have to take that off and send it to him. So that'll be something I'll be doing in the winter. But let's get to work on this install and see how it goes. It's as simple as pulling real hard and it'll pop loose. I do recommend twisting the fender to one side and keeping that first edge you pull away from the fenders, so when you do the other side, it's easier. Now we got to get this plastic out of here. And of course, I have to clean this all up before I send it to him. If you send it to him dirty, you can expect a charge. He doesn't want to have to clean your shit. If you're doing an exchange, make sure you clean your parts before you send them to him. That's clearly in the terms of the exchange agreement. Now, it looks like to get this off, you just have little clips right there. You pull in, pops right out of there. Now, mine's a little dirty, so I am going to wash it real quick before I put it in the new one. All right, guys, I want to show you something real quick while I have this off. We're going to look at the actual radiator without the trim in front of it, and I'm going to show you why I want a Clockwork slicer fender that is longer and wraps down further on the wheel. What do you guys see there? Those are little bitty rocks. So those are small, but those are little bitty rocks that have gone through that grill and got wedged into the radiator area. And that is because this fender, when you look at it, the fender does not come down as far as the radiator is. And so you get a little bit of stuff that comes through that grill and ends up in your radiator area. A longer fender, I think, will prevent some of that in the future. I kind of wish I'd done it sooner. Now that I've had this off and I see how much I've already got embedded into there, maybe I can take a little water and flush some of that out, but I'd rather it was never there to begin with. All right, we're going to put this trim back in. This is the face of it. That's it. Pops in that easy. She'll go on the bike just like that. Looking good. Let's go pop it on, see how she looks. Just to give you some perspective, these are what you're pushing in there. So those probably just go into like a rubber grommet or something and have a little bit of an angle to hold them. You got 4 of those. That's all you're pulling out of there. You can see that top one right there. Now, it's pretty hard to show you with the camera while you're doing this, but you can actually kind of put your finger on that rubber grommet on the back of it where it's attached to the motorcycle when you're pushing in to kind of hold it in place so you can really feel this pop in securely. Now, this is the OEM fender, and you can see that pearl in there. And it may be hard to see on this until I get it out in the light, but this has got that same pearl in there. You can kind of see it there in places as I roll the camera around. But we'll get this thing out and show you what it looks like in the sunlight, but I think it looks pretty good. And I like the white and black. I've seen some where this is painted to match. I like the fact that it's not painted to match and that I have that black and white contrast continuing through the bike. Now, doesn't that look a lot cleaner than it did when I took it off? So yeah, some of this streaks will come out when it dries. That's because I just wiped it down with the Armor All wet wipe to make sure I got it clean and there's no rock chips or nicks or any cracks in the plastic or anything like that. And looks much better. Now, all we'll have to do is package the old one back up, return it to him, and I am good to go. Now, I want to explain how this exchange program works real quick. I've cleaned this up really good. They don't want to clean your stuff. If you have to clean your stuff, they're going to charge you. But the way the exchange program works is you order the part with it marked as OEM Harley Exchange, and if they have one painted and ready to go on the shelf, they'll tell you to take yours off and ship it to them. You pay for shipping to them. If they don't have one ready, they will contact you as soon as they have one painted with the color you've specified, and then you send yours in. They just want to see yours and make sure it's a good exchange before they ship you the painted one. So once your exchange shows up, they inspect it, they send you one that is already painted, so you're not waiting for them to paint it and all that. It's just a matter of they need to inspect the one you send in, make sure there's no cracks, rock chips, dents, anything like that, and that it's a good exchange. Sounds like a pretty fair deal to me. Josh, because I'm making this content, went ahead and sent me one, but I am sending my old one back to him right away. All right, guys. We talked about the exchange program earlier, and I mentioned you have to ship your part to the factory match. And that is part of the cost of this. And I figured somebody's going to ask or say how much that costs. So I went ahead and shipped mine. Here's my shipping receipt. Got it shipped out this morning. And it cost me $35 to ship it from where I live to South Dakota to the factory match. So if you're worried about what kind of expense that is, that gives you a ballpark idea. That was cheap ground shipping, nothing overnight, nothing special. But based on the size of the box, which is the biggest expense, you probably might even get by with a smaller box than what I did. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. I like the factory match, color matched parts on my bike. And I really appreciate them working with me and sponsoring this video and supporting the channel and giving my audience 5% off. That means as much to me as anything else, is giving you guys an opportunity to save some money out because you watch my videos. So Hope you guys like this video. Y'all stay safe, keep on riding, and we'll see you in the next one.